Dallas Mavericks won their third game in a row, blowing out the Chicago Bulls 127-92. Luka Doncic had 27 points, 14 assists, and 12 rebounds, which was his 7th straight triple-double. It's crazy what he's been able to do this season. Derek Lively II scored 22 points, Daniel Gafford added 20, and Kyrie Irving plus Jaden Hardy also finished in double figures. The big men for the Mavs were absolutely spectacular. Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively II in the Mavs blowout win over the Bulls combined for 42 points, 14 rebounds, 4 blocks on 20 of 21 shooting from the field. Also, the Mavericks are now 5-0 when Daniel Gafford starts at center. He's averaging 15 points, 9.6 rebounds, 0.8 steals, and 2.6 blocks per game while shooting at 80.5% from the field in these games. Not to mention, Daniel Gafford is on the verge of making NBA history. I'm surprised not more people are talking about this, but Gafford has made an outstanding 28 straight field goals, a record that goes back to when play-by-play was tracked beginning in 1996-97. He just needs only 7 more consecutive made field goals without a miss to tie Wilt Chamberlain's record of 35, which the legend set during the 1966-67 season. So Gafford is 8 more consecutive made field goals away from history, and he could get that in the Mavericks' next matchup against the Golden State Warriors. Before we continue on, guys, do me a solid, smack that like button and smash that subscribe button down below for more Mavericks content just like this. Mavs fans, you guys have been absolutely awesome, showing me some love on my Mavericks content on this channel. So if you want to see more, definitely smack that like button and smash that subscribe button. Your support is always greatly appreciated. The Mavericks, they might be onto something here, guys. The performance of the Mavericks big men shows that Jason Kidd must utilize them more and not overly rely on small ball lineups with Maxi Kleber playing at the 5. And this is when Dallas was losing some of those games, and it resulted in Gafford not getting his minutes. He only played 6 minutes against the Celtics and 13 minutes against the 76ers, which resulted in 2 L's. So that incredible big man tandem that is starting to shape up here of Gafford and Lively II, they must be key pieces in the rotation regardless of the matchup. Obviously, playing small ball has its advantages in certain situations, but Gafford and Lively II are too good not to heavily implement each game. Both players, they can absolutely dominate a game with their interior presence and their ability to score on the glass. And just take a look at their last game. I mean, both of these guys single-handedly propelled the Mavericks. And you look at Gafford in particular, Jason Kidd might have something here with him as a starter. He made his mark when he got his first start with the Mavericks, all the way back when the Mavs took on his former team in the Wizards. In that start, Gafford had 16 points, 17 rebounds, 5 blocks, and 2 steals in the win. Obviously, this was going to make for an interesting decision for Kidd to make when Lively II returned from injury. Lo and behold, he did regain his starting spot after Gafford's second start, but Gafford has now started in the last 3 games for the Mavericks, and they have won all 3. And Lively II was not available for one of those games, but it looks like Gafford could be the starting center moving forward, especially with the Mavs perfect with him as a starter. Like I mentioned, 5-0, have not lost with Daniel Gafford as a starter to this point. And this doesn't mean it's going to hinder Lively II's production either. I mean, as a backup center, look at what Lively did. He was 11 of 12 from the field, and he had 8 dunks en route to a career-high 22 points to go with 7 boards and 2 blocks. So there's a world where this can work with Gafford starting games and Lively II still being a huge contributor from off the bench. So it's going to be interesting to see if Jason Kidd continues to operate like this with Gafford as the starter. But, I mean, you look at the small sample size, it's working effectively, and this is the type of style the Mavericks need to show a lot more of. And of course, somebody who's making life for the big man easier is Luka Doncic, who is continuing to go about his business, and he continues to put up crazy stat line after crazy stat line. I mean, you look at what Luka's doing this season, guys, it's remarkable. There's no other way to put it. I mean, he is averaging a near 35-point triple-double, and you look at Luka over his last 10 games since the All-Star break, combined 364 points, 114 assists, 102 rebounds. No other player since 1975-76 has matched that in any 10-game span. So Luka doesn't get the MVP buzz that he deserves because you look at where the Mavs are, they are the 8th seed, but there's no denying that he's arguably the best player in the game right now. I mean, he's right there with Nikola Jokic in my opinion. The Mavericks, you look at where they're at, they are the 8th seed, but luckily for them, they're only 1 game back of the Suns, who they do have the tiebreaker against for that 6th seed. And that is huge because that would avoid the play-in altogether. And that's where the Mavericks want to be. They do not want to be in the play-in tournament, especially since they missed out on the play-in altogether and postseason, a season ago. So this is a team that they want to get in. They want a first round full playoff series to operate, especially with this new look Mavs team. And I still think the Mavericks are a dangerous lower seed, especially if they can continue to thrive with this Gafford Lively 1-2 big man punch. So the Mavericks, they might have something here. This is a team that, all things considered, I know they went through that rough patch of losing games, but since the All-Star break, they have shown some improvement. What was another great thing to see is their defense that hasn't been good as of late, holding Chicago to under 100 points. I think they really needed that. So, hopefully they can build on that with their defensive effort, because we know this Mavericks team, they can score a ton of points. They can score with the best of them, but it comes down to, playing critical defense and getting stops. So we'll see if the Mavs can continue to build on this, 3 wins in a row. Can they make it 4? They got a big back-to-back coming up against the Warriors and then Thunder. So the Dallas Mavericks, this is a team. They look to try to get out of the play-in tournament. Still plenty of time to do it, as Dallas, they have their sights set on one of those top 6 seeds. Right now, if the playoffs started today, it would be Kings Mavericks in a play-in game, and if the Mavericks win that, they would be the 7th seed. They're going to the playoffs. If they lose that, then they would play the winner of the 9-10 matchup, which at this point is looking very likely it's going to be a Lakers-Warriors showdown. But if the Mavericks are able to get the 6th seed, I know there's still games left here to be played this season, but Mavericks taking on the Timberwolves, for example, I think would be an ideal matchup for the Mavs, especially since the Timberwolves would in all likelihood be without Karl Anthony Towns. I know it has been speculated he could return for the playoffs, but that is a team that the Mavericks would want to fall into a first round playoff matchup when looking at some of the top teams in the West. But still some time left here. The Mavericks gonna have plenty of time to make up some ground. 1 game back of the Suns for 6th and 2.5 games back of the Pelicans for 5th. Let me know your thoughts on this Mavericks team. Let me know your thoughts on Daniel Gafford as a starter. Hit a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. As always, thank you so much for watching. Your support is greatly appreciated. This is Lucas signing off. I will catch you all again in the next video.